So, Mike, since you have landed in Spain, can you share what you've seen, what you've observed of the country, anything you've experienced that you wouldn't normally experience back home?
Well, I think the timing of the question for the person you're asking is a little unfortunate. I've seen the hotel office that I have, but on the ride over here, it was absolutely gorgeous. So it reminded me a lot of Northern California in terms of just kind of the layout, and being a history major, there's a lot of things I'd like to see, but right now I know firmly where the beverages are and where the pens are and where my computer is to watch film. But we'll get there by Friday.
Hi, Mike Thales with Associated Press. Can you talk a little bit about the facilities here at Atlético de Madrid? And you get to practice here and then play at Real Madrid Stadium, which is their big city rivals. If you could talk a little bit about that. And also, Dan talked about the time that he helped you with your personal problems. And he was proud about it and saying that it was important for him as well. If you could talk about that as well again.
Absolutely. Are you trying to throw me square in the middle of a rivalry? I've yet to be to the stadium that we're playing the game at, but so far here, very, very impressed. Just you can tell it's first class for sure, and we feel very fortunate to be able to have access to a facility like this to prepare for an NFL game. It's very helpful when you have such a nice facility with all the things that you need for a football team. So. Dan Quinn holds a special place in my heart, in my career. I think he was there at ground zero when I became sober, and supported me and believed in me, and gave me the opportunity to continue what I love to do. So for that, I'll be forever indebted to him. I think it speaks to the type of man he is and the type of leader he is, that I know really he touches every player he coaches from a true, authentic standpoint. And I think the Commanders are very fortunate to have him.
Hi, Mike. You're big on team bonding experiences, of course, whenever the team travels, like the long preseason trip and such. Germany a couple of years ago. What do you hope the team, the players, get out of this experience?
Well, I think any sort of investment, personal investment into people's lives, such as this is a place that a lot of people have never knew they're going to be able to go to necessarily, and just feel very fortunate to have a first-time experience. And so you do that with teammates, and, little things are big things. So the sport of football is 11 people playing together each and every down, and that cohesion is only elevated when you share off the field experiences as well. So I think as far as the opportunity to have a player day off here versus home, where everyone has their lives and it takes them different places, it's a residual win. And I feel fortunate to we feel very fortunate to have the opportunity, and now it's back to focusing on exactly what people are here for, and that's to play a game. So against an opponent that's going to be a complete handful. So we have a lot of work to do starting here.
Yeah, Adrian Rodriguez-Huber, welcome to Spain, and we wish you a nice stay here.
Well, thank you.
To quick questions. You know, most of the people, football in Europe is what you guys in America call soccer. Do you have any approach to that sport? And also, after you win last game against the Buffalo Bills, was it psychologically a very important win, this one? And do you believe you'll end up with a winning record still?
Well, I think to answer your first question, football. Yes, I'm a avid. You know, I don't think I've missed a World Cup. That's as good as it gets in terms of you know, people from all over the world. Really, I think it kind of flexes the popularity of the sport globally. But in the World Cup, people fighting for their country and only being able to do so every 4 years, that firmly ingrained my passion to the sport. And yeah, I'm a fan. I was working with the Houston Texans back my second year in the National Football League, and there was an exhibition of Barcelona was playing. I can't remember who, but it was a pretty cool event. And since then, I've kept a close eye on it. And then, as far as our team, you know, I think each and every game is its own individual challenge. I think, you know, the more that you can almost simplify the formula for what you're trying to do. You know, we do have a history. We are in division, and it's, you know, absolutely vital if you're trying to do anything in the National Football League. It goes through your division. But I think more than anything, you know, the team needed to feel the complete execution of a three-phase football game. And I think, you know, that more than anything, less of the opponent and more of, you know, who we are and how we play football. You know, I think that was the biggest thing for that, you know, our team. And, you know, I think right now you don't, in the National Football League, you run yourself into trouble if you look past anyone. You know, the parity is so real that, you know, every game you have to earn your victory. And if you look at more than the next game, it's usually a recipe for failure. So, yeah, our team on the heels of putting together what we think is a complete game. Now our objective is to, you know, change circumstances, go across an ocean, and create the same formula to, you know, have the same outcome for this next game, and that has to be earned. So, you know, I think the belief in the team is very high amongst the entire locker room, and, you know, our job is to play football, but we get to choose if we're impassioned collectively, and I think guys have made that choice and need to continue to progress so that we can have another win, and then we'll move on to the next one, and ultimately that's the best way to shape your record in the way you want.
Hey, Kaylin Kaler with ESPN. The Dolphins have an international growth strategy to be the NFL team for the Spanish-speaking world. So I'm curious, living in Miami where 67% of residents speak Spanish at home, I'm curious how you interact with Spanish at home in Miami, if you do at all.
I do my best when interacting with bilingual people who speak English. I'm a very good listener, and I can understand it, but unfortunately, I do the language an injustice when I try to get reps at it. So, you know, fortunately, you know, we are. Fortunately, most people that try to speak with me speak fluent English, which is my wheelhouse.
Coach McDaniel, Javier Galvez from Marca, and I wanted to ask you, how has the atmosphere been since the departure of former general manager Chris Greyer?
Well, I think you get used to in professional sports, things occurring, specifically when your results aren't there. And I think from my standpoint as the head coach of the football team, I think I'm very focused on how we play football and keeping guys focused on that. I think collectively the team did a great job of focusing on what was most important for the foreseeable future, which was the next opponent. And sometimes when there's things that are outside of your control, realistically, the best thing to do is to focus on what you can control. I think that's what the team did, and I think the results were a product of focus and desire, strain, and a collective effort that was very focused on the opponent, the Buffalo Bills, and that's what it will take this week for the Commanders.
Hey, Mike, Marcelo Jacques, ESPN. I know you've said Jaylen Waddle is a number one receiver. You've seen him as a number one receiver. Since Tyreek's injury, I think he's cleared 5 catches and 80 yards in every game but one. What have you seen from him? How have you seen him, I guess, achieve another level since, becoming the de facto number one guy in this offense?
Well, I think there's, something to be said about the, his high percentage of productivity from per target, and when you're the number one receiver, and the team is depending on you to be that, generally your targets come in critical situations, whether it's situational football or moments in the game. And, in those situations, the team rises or falls based upon, your execution of what people are depending on you to execute. So it's never, Jaylen Waddle has always had the talent to do almost anything on the football field. And, a lot of receivers do have talent. He's an extraordinary talent, but playing the position of receiver in the National Football League has to do with more than just the talent. It's a high level of execution and understanding of timing, understanding of areas of the field, understanding what the responsibilities are of the players around you so you can appropriately run your route. High level detail that, the pass rush in half of a second, if you're off your game, your quarterback could get sacked and you could not even have a target. So when you're the leading receiver, you're a true one. There's a lot of weight and expectation of execution, and that's what I've seen him deliver on, is the staying true to his technique and fundamentals, understanding through all the prep when to do what, how to release, when to use a move on a route, and when the quarterback is needing him to get out of his break fast and as a hot. All things winning football. When you're the number one receiver, you have to be playing winning football, and I think he's demonstrated that he can do that for our team in a very, very effective way, which is it's great to see and very timely.
Hi, Mike, for Front 7 Podcast. In other international games, teams arrive on Thursday or even Friday. What's the reason behind your early arrival, and do you think it makes a difference in your preparation for the game? Thanks.
Hey, no problem. On the front end of the answer, I think there's many different ways to do it. I think there's pros and cons to any extensive time difference. So the philosophy that what we try to get out here early to adapt to the time, but more importantly to me, I think it's it's hard for me to, come to a place that is as wonderful as this and not expect players to want to see it at all if they're playing a game. And rather than cramming that in at the end of the week, I figure use the player day off, which is normally a day that they would have that they're not allowed to come in and get coached, and use that to bond together. So it doesn't, it's all, you can win any way, and the schedule is not going to dictate that. It's more a collective buy-in to what you're doing and how you're doing it that matters the most. I think our teams win coming a couple days early. Teams win coming a week early. It's really all about the team and what they decide to put into the game, and you adjust for time zones because the opponent has to as well.
To knock out some housekeeping, is any practice window opening for either Austin Jackson, James Daniels? I know you hinted at possibly someone, and also any updates on Chop Robinson, Rasul Douglas, Juju Brents from an injury standpoint? 4 for 1, I'm sorry.
I'm by my count, I feel like it was more than 4, but Austin Jackson's window will be opening today, so it'll be good to have him on the field. And then as far as I know you said Rasul, and Rasul's working his way back. He eagerly trying to get ready for this game. He won't practice today, but we feel positive about him. And then Chop should be all things point towards a full clearance today, and we feel positive about that. There's a lot of nicks, but no, there's no worry of what you're worried about.
Just a quick question. Is Aaron Brewer, okay, or is he hurt?
Well, he's not going to practice today. He is working through a game issue that, from a captain's standpoint, he's not going to be executing all the plays today, but you can tell where his mind's at. He's working his way back. I feel very optimistic. It is a real thing he's dealing with, but just knowing him and his mindset, I feel very optimistic for him.
Hi, Mike. From Spain, we see yourself as a very close, friendly person. So in your management style, how do you do to keep the balance between being a cool, chill guy with the people, but also having to make tough decisions, remarking you're the boss?
Well, I think the idea of being a coach in general is you're trying to be able to reach people. So I think on the front end, you have to earn their respect and regard by way of being worthy of them listening to you. And then, as far as, executing, standards and having accountability, that you just follow through with, the rules you set forth that you deem important. I think, the main thing is that you're trying to develop and maximize players. And from a psychological standpoint, how do you do that? There's one way that I know, and that's to reach players, and you do that with both meeting them on their level, but also holding them accountable and making sure that they are maximizing all of their talent in their profession. So I think for me, I've never seen anyone respond to someone inauthentic. So I think it's of primary importance when you're in a working relationship.
Mike, Tua recently had said that one way he can get back to his previous level of play is by just playing with conviction. It's not necessarily a comfort thing, conviction. As his coach, I don't know if this is more of a Tua question, but as his coach, how does he get back to playing with conviction? How do you get your players playing with conviction again?
Well, I think it starts with what are you telling them to do? What are they being coached to do? Are they capable of doing it? And then just working together to I think last game he played very convicted. And how did he do that? I think it's pretty simple. It's going through each and every play with the understanding of the foundational principles of how we teach, and then lean into playing the position as a point guard rather than trying to play the position as a shooting guard. As a quarterback, you don't always know what's going to be open. You might not even know what's going to be open at the snap. So the key is that you have a clear mind and rely on your gifts and your training and play what you see and do it with conviction, understanding that the idea is not to be perfect. The idea is to be fully prepared and lean into your skill sets and play with the other 10 players. So I think, his game is where the team needs it when he is playing convicted. I think he recognizes that, and that's one of the reasons we were able to score 30 points in the past game was his conviction on a lot of things.
And just to clarify, just to follow up here, I love a cross-sport analogy, but playing as a point guard instead of a shooting guard, his job to distribute and get his teammates involved rather than look to essentially get buckets himself or win the game himself.
Well, I think you have to look at it like, all passes have to be caught, and as for other players to have an impact on the game, it is the quarterback's job to get him the ball. So when you're looking at it through the lens of, all right, I'm not going to predetermine that this ball is going to go through the hoop. I might shoot it. I might, if I have two defenders charging me, I might bounce pass it to the lane. Whatever it is, you have to know all of what all the players are doing, and you have to attack a defense through conviction where they're vulnerable. And you have concepts that are better for certain coverages or certain defenses or ideal for certain, but the main objective is still to distribute and deliver the football for other players to run with it. So I think that point guard analogy is something that we use a bunch because it's a mindset thing, and he's trying to play with conviction while distributing the football. All right. Thank you, guys.